This is your End Times News Update. If this picture does not perfectly describe the state of the world right now, then I'm not sure what would. But before we get to that news, did you know that there's going to be a partial solar eclipse this Saturday? Whoa! I wonder if the EU sees it as a sign of things to come. Because we have this news coming out how the EU has asked for households to stockpile 72 hours of food in case of war. 72 hours, huh? Apparently they are preparing for the quickest war in history. But let's move on. Now, speaking of war, apparently North Korea sent 3,000 more soldiers to Russia this year, while we also have Denmark wanting to buy additional F-35s from the US. Oh, come on, Denmark. You don't want to put in your pre-order for the F-47? You know, the soon-to-be greatest fighter jet ever. Well, speaking of 47, Mr. 47 right here says Iran must accept offer to negotiate with the US. Otherwise, there will be a harsh alternative to Iran. Sounds like a threat. I don't know, you might want to be careful because we have this news coming out how Iran has cut the time needed to produce weapons-grade uranium to under 7 days. Oh no, that must mean that Iran is this close from having a nuke, which apparently Iran has been close to having a nuclear bomb for 22 years. If you haven't realized it by now, we live in a clown world, and here's Exhibit A. Now let's move on with this news. Russia says a multipolar world order is being formed. No, you don't say. Now, apparently, Putin says U.S. plan to take over Greenland is serious. Anything Mr. 47 does is serious. You better believe it. Now, speaking of Putin, apparently Prophet Zelensky has prophesied that Putin will soon be departing this earth. What does he know that we don't know? Now, we also have China warning of retaliation and plans of reciprocal tariffs in response to U.S. tariffs. And because of this trade war, the markets have been pretty volatile. While we are witnessing these U.S. automakers taking a hit because of these auto tariffs, we can see the GameStop stock falls over 25% after issuing debt to buy Bitcoin. Yeah, instead of buying Bitcoin, maybe GameStop should have bought silver or actual real gold. Hard physical assets for the win. This is not financial advice, and I'm not a financial advisor. Now, we also have 23andMe winning permission from a judge to try to sell information about customers' medical and ancestry-related data. It sure looks like that's going to come back to roost for those who sent them their DNA. But let's move on. Now, we also have Trump on the Signal chat leak saying that it's all a witch hunt. He sure is obsessed with declaring things to be a witch hunt. I wonder why. Now, we also have the US pushing to control all major future infrastructure and mineral investments in Ukraine. Hey, didn't I talk about this in yesterday's news update? Yeah, it's Russia agreeing to ban on striking Ukrainian energy infrastructure, because we are going to need that energy infrastructure to be able to mine rare earth minerals over there. There's always a reason and a deeper agenda. Now, we also have RFK Jr. planning to cut 10,000 jobs and restructuring of health department because we know and realize that humanoid robots and AI are going to take over these jobs, along with possibly abolishing the TSA. As we can see right here, Republicans are introducing legislation to abolish the TSA. Now, before you get too excited, this is a prime example of the Hegelian dialectic. The problem, reaction, solution. What's the problem? The TSA is inefficient. What's the reaction? People are fed up with the TSA. What's the solution? Abolish it and introduce biometrics AI surveillance. It's the future. Now, speaking of the future, we have the Beast system surveillance technology Starlink now active in Armenia. And on top of that, we had severe flooding in Mexico. Now, with that all being said, this concludes the End Times News Update for March 27th, 2025. And again, guys, remember, do not allow this information to cause fear, anxiety, and stress, okay? It's just information, things going on in this clown world, but through it all, we continue to live by faith and not by sight, focusing upon the Lord and looking up, realizing that our redemption draws near. Love you all so much. God bless. Remember, the just shall live by faith.